Right, it's 7:22. A photo of a male student holding up a sign saying, "This is not what a rapist looks like," has created quite a row online. He was reacting to his university asking him to attend a consent class designed to educate students and reduce the number of sexual assaults on campus. Well, this time last year, Five Live Breakfast uncovered how much so-called lad culture was dominating the lives of students.
And the NUS has told us more than a quarter of female students faced unwelcome sexual advances on campus, and a number of universities are now providing sexual consent classes during Freshers' Week. A few weeks ago, Five Live's Stephen Chittenden went to Cambridge University, where anti-rape and sex assault classes are happening at 20 of its colleges.
So was that a useful experience for you?
Yeah, I thought it was very useful and interesting. I knew a lot of it already from stuff on the internet, but I feel like it's good because it makes you more prepared for what uni life's going to be like. And so you know that you can just not do things if you don't want to.
I thought it was quite a nice, relaxed environment, so you felt like you were able to say something if you wanted to say something.
And what about the idea of it being compulsory?
It was quite a good way to get people to come along, because you felt like then people would come along, you weren't going to be the only one. Because when it's not a compulsory event, you wouldn't want to turn up and find there were only two people there with you. So
yeah, I thought the same thing, because I thought no one would have gone if it wasn't compulsory, probably, because there's just so much stuff on that we have to schedule and it's just packed. So I think it was good because it makes sure everyone knows what's going on.
Make sure everybody knows exactly what's going on. We should make it clear these classes aren't aimed at people universities and colleges suspect of any wrongdoing or could be capable of it. But this is how one student at Warwick University, George Lawlor, reacted to being asked to go on one of these classes. He wrote about it for this online student newspaper, The Tab.
Someone has to say it. I don't have to be taught to not be a rapist. That much comes naturally to me, as I'm sure it does to the overwhelming majority of people you and I know. Brand me a bigot, a misogynist, a rape apologist. I don't care. I stand by that.
Leah Phillips is a PhD candidate at the same university as the student. Good morning, Leah.
Good morning.
Hi there. And we've got Mike Buchanan as well, leader of the Justice for Men and Boys, which is a political party that advocates men and boys' rights and opposes feminism. Morning, Mike.
Good morning, Nicky.
Yeah, Leah, Leah, do you think all young men could do with going to these classes?
Well, I don't think it's all young men, Nicky. I think the whole point of these classes was raising awareness for everyone. I think there is a problem with a lad culture at universities where the young men are often seen, and the statistics do tell us that young men are perpetrating these acts more than young women are. But I do think these classes are for everyone. It's not just the men we're asking to come to them from our university campuses. It's inviting girls and boys.
Something's going on in the noise there, so just be careful of those microphones. Yeah. But yeah, point made. What do people actually learn? What's the big message, Leah?
It's raising awareness, and it's about, consent is more complicated than just no is no or yes is yes. It's learning the nuanced situations.
Situations such as?
Yes might happen at one point in the night, but then drink and emotions running high might change a yes to a no. And it's about checking throughout the encounter that, yes is still yes. And that, if a girl passes out after having drink, or a lad passes out after having drink, yes probably isn't yes anymore.
Do you think there are any grey areas, or is it always clear?
I think there are probably grey areas, and I think this is the point of these workshops. It's giving young people an opportunity to get together. They're student-led workshops, so we're not putting adults in positions of authority over these students, but it gives them a chance to come together and to talk about those possible grey areas and to ask questions about what they might consider to be a grey area.
What's wrong with that, Mike?
People understand what sexual consent looks like, Nicky. We sure as hell don't need radical feminists telling us what it looks like, given by definition they hate men and can barely comprehend the notion of women consenting to sex. At the heart of this is a relentless feminist campaign to shame men, to give women ever more privileges regardless of the consequences. Now, feminists never say exactly what consent looks like. So a woman can say, the morning after sex, she's not happy with it. that she didn't give consent, so she was raped. It's absolutely outrageous.
Leah?
In the first instance, I'm wondering if this means he's labeling me as a radical feminist. 100,000 women are raped each year. The numbers aren't
Rubbish. Fewer than 1,000 men are convicted of rape every year. You're basically saying that rape allegations are proof of rape. Absolutely outrageous.
I think proof of rape is something that has to be determined in each and every situation, and obviously I can't be in each and every situation where sexual violence or rape is occurring.
No, but you just said there are 100,000 rapes every year.
Those are the statistics that are reported.
No. Those are rape allegations.
Hang on. Wait a minute. I mean, you said a number of things there, Mike, which a lot of people will take issue with. You were very strident. You know, a lot of young women and occasionally young men on campus as well are in a vulnerable situation, and this is something that can affect you long term. And there are people who don't know the boundaries, don't understand the boundaries, don't understand when no actually does mean no, and you're in a dangerous situation here of downgrading what is a very, very serious problem. Aren't you?
No, I'm doing nothing of the sort. I mean, the men who are going to rape Nicky are not going to be deterred from doing so by some silly feminist course.
But it's not necessarily about deterring the men who are going to rape. It's also about raising awareness in their friends, in the people they're out with, in just the normal punters that are out in these clubs, so that if those people see something happening, they might step in and stop it. It's not about labeling and naming somebody as definitely going to be a rapist.
Of course,
it's about increasing awareness of situations in which rape and sexual violence can occur and giving young people the skills to deal with those situations.
Leah, they have the skills. These are intelligent people at university. The idea of consent lessons is preposterous. Only a very small proportion of men are rapists, and they tend to be serial rapists.
You say they have these skills.
They will not be deterred.
Where are they coming from?
Leah,
one thing I will agree with is that university is a bit late for these sort of conversations to be occurring. I think sex ed and relationship education ought to be occurring much younger and in schools.
The point is statistically, do you think that, Leah, I mean, what's anecdotal, what's statistical, what's the reality? Do you think people are raped by their own, because Mike just said, these are serial rapists, but are people raped by their own boyfriends?
Statistically, rapists aren't a type for one thing, but 1 in 3 girls are sexually assaulted. Rubbish. And it's not necessarily rape, sexual assault.
Rubbish.
By people.
Sorry,
let her finish the sentence, please. I want to hear what you both say, but I don't want to hear what Leah says. By their own.
So this is the point, in holding up that sign, Mr. Lawlor pointed out that, this isn't what a rapist looks like. But in fact, he misses the point of kind of these awareness raising situations. He is exactly what a rapist could look like. I'm not saying that he is one, but, your rapist could be your boyfriend, your best friend's boyfriend.
Is this about groping as well, touching somebody's backside
for me,
as well?
It is. It's sexual violence, not just rape. And
it's touching someone's backside. That's not well. Is that sexual violence?
Well, it is if it's unwarranted and unwanted. That's the point. It's, I don't want to be out on a night, and I'm sure the first years and second years and third years at university don't want to be out on a night, queuing up for a drink at the bar, having their bum groped. That's not part of a good night out.
Look, if we go back to the case we're talking about, rapists will not be deterred from raping by any feminist-inspired consent course. And we know that most incarcerated rapists were sexually abused when they were children by women, sometimes their mothers. So maybe we need to send women on courses to teach them not to sexually abuse boys.
We're going to have to leave it. We're going to have to. So, Leah, very, 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 very last word.
The number of rapists that are incarcerated is a very small minority of the people who actually commit these acts of rape, of sexual violence. That's a very small minority of people. It's a much more endemic problem, and that's what these I Heart Consent seminars are about.
Okay, well, listen, so much to talk about. We could talk about it so much more. Some people might want to take issue with both of you. Some people are already saying by text, to classify touching somebody's backside as sexual violence is to diminish the seriousness of sexual violence. But there will be many who agree with both of you. Thank you very much indeed.